Three, two, one. Hello, dear listeners, whoever's listening to this right now. My name is Solomon, and I am here with.
Sam Yeow, who plays the spirit.
Awesome. So I have literally never spoken to you until just now, like in a call anyway. So I don't know anything about you really. But I guess the first thing I want to know is how much you knew about Dead by Daylight before this project.
Yeah, I actually just realized you're right. We've never actually spoken before, and this is the proper first time.
Yeah.
I actually knew nothing about Dead by Daylight until I saw your podcast, and I remember at the casting call auditions, um, it was written there. It's okay if you don't know anything about it, but it'd be great if you can do some research. So I scrolled through all the characters, and I only auditioned for one, which I thought I might stand a better chance at getting the part, which is the spirit. And then I did some research on her, and I thought it was really interesting.
What parts did you find interesting?
The fact that she's the ghost, for one. I mean, they're all ghosts in a way, but
Yeah.
she's like a vengeful Japanese ghost. And so I looked at videos. I think you've linked some of them in documents, and I went to check them out, and it shows how her whole how it all went down for her, and it was just she's being sliced up and all. It was pretty
Yeah.
gruesome, but it's a nice storyline, and she looks really scary because some of I know some of the killers they wear masks, so but the spirit's appearance is quite scary.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It's sad too because she's one of the more like innocent killers. Every killer has a reason why that they're in the realm and why they're serial killers, whatever. She was just kind of wrong. She did literally nothing wrong. Whereas some of these people are actually like psychopaths and stuff, but she was just in a bad spot. Um, but how similar do you think you as a person are to this character of Rin?
Oh wow.
You can be different, you know, it's okay to say you're really different people, but
I think I'm pretty sure we're quite different. So I just did the lore readings yesterday. I
Mhm.
don't yeah I'll send it over soon. But I mean that just gives me a reminder of her whole story, and it's just how she developed from because usually with Japanese girls in the early days they're more submissive, they're quiet, and then um when it all went down it just changed something in her, and she has this very dark side that comes out.
Right.
I would think that to a certain extent I am soft as well. Like I don't really like to debate. I rather just walk away from an argument if I can.
Yeah.
But if it gets to a point where it's very frustrating and it's really upsetting, then I'm very sure I have a very dark side to me as well that it doesn't come out at all because there's no reason for it to come out. But I know
Yeah.
it's there. So if I ever get pushed to that extent, then maybe I'll be as vengeful as her. Hopefully not, but
Well,
yeah.
we're all secretly evil. It's okay. I think
That's
every single
true.
person. Yeah, we're all actually terrible. I'm just more open about it. um,
We all have that side to us.
yeah, we can all turn into blue ghost people at any given moment. Um, but yeah, so I guess like maybe how would you describe yourself as a person then? As Sam.
Um, okay, it would be hard for me to say about myself, but I did this exercise around a month plus ago, and it's
Mhm.
like a self-branding exercise where I ask my friends and families, and some of them who know me pretty well, and some of them who more of like not to say a hi bye friend, but I've not known them for so long, and I asked them
Yeah.
to give me to provide me with 10 adjectives that describe me.
Oh, I had to do that in my theater class. That was a whole part of our curriculum. But yeah,
Oh,
I know what you're
wow.
talking about. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
you ask either like your really close people or like strangers, kind of like acquaintances, like describe me in a few words. So like, what did you get a
Yeah.
lot when you did that exercise?
The first one is brave slash courage, and I was like brave. Like, I didn't understand, so I went and asked them what part of like how do I come off as brave? They say that so I used to be in marketing. I was a marketing strategist, then I became a marketing manager. and
That's good to know.
then then I went. So I'm currently in Malaysia. I'm a Chinese Malaysian,
Hmm.
but I went to Singapore to work and just branch out. And I do a lot of different things. I also travel alone to most places.
Right.
When I was studying in the UK, I would travel alone to Lisbon, to I want to say Greece, Spain, but I have some friends there that I bounce around with. But a lot of it, for the most part of it, is alone. I like to check out places like that,
Yeah.
and that I have a switch in my career where I'm now a full-time voice actor and no longer have a stable job. So they find that brave. Maybe it doesn't come off as brave in the Western world, but in Asia, it's rare. It's rare to do this, I suppose.
Yeah. I actually haven't thought about that. I know that there are differences between like Western and like Eastern question mark. Is that the right way to say that? Like trains of thought. Um,
Probably.
probably. Um, what do you? I've never met someone from that is in Malaysia currently. What would you say is like something? Let me back up a little bit. Where
Mm.
did you like grow up, and what was that culture like?
Okay, so I was born and raised in Malaysia. In
Hmm.
Malaysia, a lot of people have this misconception that everybody in Malaysia is Malay. We have
Hmm.
three main races. The first one, and I think that's like 70% of the population is Malay. And then
Right.
you have the Chinese, which is me. And
Yeah.
for Chinese, we speak Mandarin. So,
Hmm.
and then English is supposedly the second language, but we learn, I mean, it depends which school we go to as well, because sometimes in primary school, if you go to a Chinese school, you learn Chinese. If you go to a Malay school, you might miss out the opportunity on learning Chinese. But there
Right.
are Chinese who go to Malay school, and that's totally fine. And then we also have Indians, so it's a multicultural country. And
Yeah.
I grew up here speaking Chinese, English, and Malay because Malay is our national language. So that's three languages down
Yeah.
already,
That's
and then we have so
that's
many
impressive.
dialects. Yeah, so I think the culture here is I don't know, probably like 10, 15 years ago it would be even more conservative. I
Right.
think now people are more willing to speak up, and with the whole COVID thing, people are more openly talking about mental health because of how COVID affects so many people who have lost their
Yeah, that's
jobs.
good.
And yeah, I mean, that's the one positive thing that came out of this whole thing, I suppose, because um, our country is pretty conservative in
Yeah.
general, but like in terms of mental health thing, people don't really talk about it, and there's still obviously what you call that, like, not to say gender inequality, but people still have different views and
Like
not as
more traditional views on what women should do. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. I mean, it's slowly
Yeah.
changing, but there's still some
So
sexism
it,
there.
yeah. So I guess that makes sense as to why you would be viewed as brave then for doing what you do, because it might not be the norm to do what you do.
Yeah, that's right, I think so.
That is very interesting. I actually, my knowledge of Malaysia is very, very low, so I'm learning a lot right now. Um, so how did you, I guess, jump to like voice acting from? You said you were doing marketing previously.
Yeah, I
Um,
I never even I never knew that there was this thing called voice acting before I even started it. I was in
mhm.
Singapore, and I had my first job there. Then I resigned, and I was unemployed for a couple months while I was looking for a new job. And my music partner, so I have a music partner, and we write songs, and we have an album up on Spotify. He's from the UK. I met him when I was studying there, and he told
Yeah,
me, "You have a good voice for ASMR. Why not you just give it a try?" I was like, "Well, I've got nothing to lose." So I said,
yeah,
"Okay, let me create a profile on Upwork." And I got my first gig, which is actually a horror. A horror? It's like a sci-fi podcast called Vast Horizon. It's by Full and Scholar Productions, and I
right.
got like a supporting character, and then I just get some part-time jobs, not part-time jobs, like just small projects on and off. And then I got myself a full-time job in Singapore again. So I went back
Right.
there and I just did voice acting on the side. And last year I resigned again and I wanted to go to Barcelona to further my learning on Spanish because I minored in Spanish when I was in
So
university.
wait, how many languages do you speak? It's like four at this point.
So there's four. Spanish is conversational. I'm not fluent at it. And there's Cantonese. I'm not fluent at it as well, but I can sort of converse in that. And then
Yeah.
both my parents speak different dialects. I can understand them, but I'm not really able to converse in them. So I think you would say three fluent, native or bilingual. And then
Yeah.
Cantonese and Spanish would be conversational.
And not to divert the topic too much, but like learning all those languages, was one much harder than the other, or are they all kind of similar? And how do they feel differently when you speak? Because I speak Spanish at a like, I'm gonna be honest with myself. It's like almost fluent, but not really there. I'm still missing some words. And I find that my Spanish brain and my English brain are two very different brains. So like, how does that work for you being trilingual asterisks? You know?
I think the first three languages, so English, Chinese, and Malay, comes really naturally to me. I would count in Chinese. I wouldn't count in English because there's like those multiplication tables that I memorized and they're all in Mandarin.
Yeah.
But I think over the years, because of university and work, sometimes I'm able to express myself better in English, but then there are certain words in Chinese that it's really hard to explain in English. So it's a mixture. And that's
Right.
why in Malaysia we always mix our languages. We can have three languages in one sentence. So it's unique, I suppose.
Yeah, that's very, because it is not like that in America where I am currently. Speaking of which, have you been to America before? Like, I assume so, but
Yes.
maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I have twice. Once to Las Vegas for like a work event, and the other time was a family trip to New York and Washington. So that's great.
Oh, cool. How'd you like it? Not everyone likes it here.
I quite like Washington.
Yeah.
New York, yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I
No, I
hope
get it.
people
I
don't
get it.
hate me.
You can be honest. It's okay. I don't think most New Yorkers like New York. I don't think most people who live there like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense though. I want to back up a little bit because that was really interesting to me. So like ASMR, uh,
Hmm.
I've never recorded anything like that. And like my brother, who is 10, he falls asleep to ASMR videos. Like that's how he goes to sleep every night. Um, and he's also, but he also like plays them out loud. It's not like a headphone thing. He just like plays. It's weird. But like, how was like recording that? Do you still do a lot of that? And like, what was that like?
Um, okay, my music partner suggested that, and to be fair, I'm not, if I were to do an ASMR project, I wouldn't be speaking like how I'm talking to you right now. But
Right.
the funny thing is, I've never ever gotten an ASMR project.
Oh,
So
okay. He just thought you'd be good at it.
yeah, and that's what prompted me to set up my freelancer profile, and I wrote that,
Right. Okay.
yeah, but I never got a job on that, so.
Okay, my bad. I misunderstood. But we should get you started on some Dead by Daylight ASMR. I guess some murder noises. I don't know. The spirit has a lot of weird in-game noises. She's like, "Rah!" It's
Yeah.
kind of gross. So if you ever wanted to try it, we could really use that for the channel. That'd be great. I'm sure you'd love to make those noises for like an hour. Okay, but like with your music partner, music's also really interesting. What I'm sure you'll plug this in the description or whatever, but what kind of music did you guys like make and how was that? I didn't know you were like musical too.
Oh God, we have such a hard time thinking what genre we actually fit into. It's a bit of there are a lot of synths in our
Hmm.
music, and it's a bit indie, probably maybe indie rock, indie folk, or alternative, I would say.
Yeah.
So our band name is Seraphine, Seraphine. I think it's a name of a character before, but the thing is, we've had this name like 6 years ago. It's just that we never published anything. It took us 5 years plus to get our first album up. Because
Right.
he's studying, he's doing his master's, his postgraduate, and I'm working. And we just do this because we really like music, and it's something that we bond over.
Right.
Yeah. So I do the singing, and he does everything else. We both write songs. Yeah, he does everything else. He played the guitar, the bass, and he'll add all like the instruments. I think he
That's how it
uses.
is sometimes.
Yeah, he uses Logic. I think. I'm not too sure, but yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's cool.
myself, like a lot of Asian girls, play the piano. I mean, that's what we learned. That's what our parents asked us to learn at a
Yeah.
young age. And then after that, when I was in uni, I tried the ukulele. I bought a really nice ukulele for myself for my birthday when I came back to Malaysia, and it got stolen.
Oh
So
no. Oh,
yeah,
I'm
it was
sorry.
so pretty. So after that, I got myself a guitar lily, and my mom
Those
has
are
a
cool too.
guitar. Yeah, so I'm not great at it. I'm better off just singing and focusing on singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
But you strike me as the kind of person who would improve that kind of thing. I think with time, you'll probably just get really good at it, and then you can like sing and play guitar ukulele and impress everyone with all the many things you can do because you seem very talented. I'm a little starstruck. Um, what was I gonna say? So as an artistic person, right? Let me gather what you've done so far. So you can sing, play a few instruments, and you're doing this whole voice acting voiceover thing, and you worked in marketing for a while. So like, do those things artistically, like for you, do they all feel different for you? Do you do them for different reasons? Because I know like when I dance, it's usually just for myself. I don't really like. I'm not trying to improve at it. Whereas when I'm acting, I like feel that in my whole body. And when I'm singing, it's usually just for fun because I love yelling songs. So for you, how do you navigate all these different artistic things you do? How do they feel for you?
I think in the early days, like okay, a few years ago when I decided, okay, let me just start a YouTube channel, because up
Right.
until then I've always thought that I don't go to karaoke, and I hardly sing with my friends in karaoke bars or places. So
Mm-hmm.
I had this impression that everybody could sing the same as me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I found out. I don't want to sound. I'm not trying to sound. I'm not trying to
No,
put
if they
myself
can't
out
sing, they
there.
can't sing. I'm just saying, like, if I know if they can't sing, sometimes I just, I mean, I'm there, I can't sing, but I do it anyway. So,
So I realized, oh, okay, so maybe I can try and start a YouTube channel, which I did. And then balancing that with recording for our first album, it was working over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and I always get burnt out because I mean I have a full-time job Monday to Friday, then Saturday, Sunday I'm just building on this, always practicing, always going for it. And
right,
I think at one point it felt more like a chore, like a task, and so somewhere along the line I stopped because it wasn't as enjoyable anymore.
makes sense.
But
Yeah.
singing is something that I really like to do. I'll sing in the shower, I'll sing when I'm driving. If I'm having a bad morning and I'm driving to work and I just put on some of my favorite songs that I can just sing, maybe scream to in the car while I'm driving.
Those are always fun. Those are always
Yeah,
fun.
it's so therapeutic, and it just, changes my mood, and I go to the office feeling happy. I think
Yeah.
music is a very powerful thing. Someone said this to me before, that doctors and nurses are, I want to say, like they cure physically, but
Hmm.
music, artistic people, the things that we produce, cures the heart.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think I'm not sure how this is in Malaysia, but I know um, in a lot of Western countries, America specifically, especially like in the more conservative states we have here, they always try to cut the artistic programs first because art is not viewed as this essential thing. But like, you need art for your soul, or else you wouldn't be happy, whether that be music or theater or whatever it is. And I'm really strong about that. So I totally
Mhm.
agree with you.
Yeah, it's an expression, is how we express ourselves. But
Yeah.
when you say like, do I do like different things with, not really. last time I used to be like, oh, I really want to be good at this so I can produce more covers, but now I'll do it when I have time, when I feel like it, because music is not the only thing in my life. I do a lot of sports as well, and I use sports to de-stress a lot when I'm
You said sports?
running. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Like what?
before the lockdown, I was playing a lot of badminton. Before that, basketball used to be my main sport. I
Hmm.
swim a bit, and I picked up skateboarding recently, which is quite
Okay,
fun.
so okay, better question. Is there anything you don't do? Like, are you like it seems like you're also working on a cure for cancer and you've been to the moon several times. Like,
I can't dance. I can't dance for life.
oh no.
I look like a chicken if I do dance.
Fair enough. I guess you all have to have at least one flaw. But yeah, you said like sports or athletics and stuff, that's way for you to de-stress, like what does that do for you?
I think sometimes if I'm upset or I'm angry about something, and sometimes you can be angry at the world, you read news and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And I don't really read the news because it upsets me more than it educates me. Um,
Yeah,
Sometimes
fair
when
enough.
you're frustrated, things don't go as planned, and I just need that energy out of me. So I like just a few days ago, I went and I sprint. I don't really enjoy running or jogging, but I sprinted. And then yesterday I went jogging with my friend, and we just kept jogging and some sit-ups, push-ups, just to get everything out of the system. And then it's like a reset button. So
Definitely.
yeah.
I don't exercise as much as I should, but I notice when I do and it's like a good one, it just you get like a natural high from the like it's like a good version of being tired, you know? Like
Yeah.
you're
I agree.
cleansed. Um I want to ask you also so how much voice acting stuff have you done? And then like out of that, what have you like really enjoyed doing? Like what's been a really cool project you've been a part of? And you don't have to say the Auric Cell, it's fine. I understand. You can talk about other projects and stuff.
I would say the Auric Cell is it's quite a special one because I the characters that I usually play are not angry. I mean, you don't have that many really angry characters. So the spirit
Right.
is a very special character. Even the lore reading that I recorded yesterday, you can see the
Yeah.
shift in the character. She starts off soft and demure, and then when bad things happen, and then it just there's a big change. There's a development in that, and she becomes very angry. And even with her portrayal, a very angry, vengeful spirit, there are so many different ways to portray anger. And anger,
Yeah, I totally agree.
yeah, you can't be shouting the whole time. Anger can come in a very quiet whisper, and anger is not the only emotion that's there. She can be frustrated at the same time, angry and frustrated, or she's sad and angry. There's so many ways to bring out her character. So she's a special one, and that's why I enjoyed the process of recording her lines.
Yeah.
Other projects, I think I've done. I actually don't know how to gauge how much I've done in comparison to other people, but
Mm.
I suppose I've done quite a few. In terms of character, there would be let me see, The White Vault, Vast Horizon, Y2K, a few podcasts, and most of it are Asian characters. There are some where I'm sounding neutral. So right now I'm just using my neutral accent. I'm not thinking how I sound, but sometimes when
Right.
it comes to characters, oh, they want an Asian accent, so I will speak like that. There's that
Yeah.
switch there.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you find it obviously I am not a female Asian actress. So is there like stereotypes and stigma that go into needing voices like that, or do you find that they're written respectfully most of the time? I tried my best to write. So like the cast of this podcast, they're all over the world. And
mm,
I not to make this all about me for a second, but like during casting, I was like, okay, which characters need accents and which characters don't? And I tried my best to find, well, one like people who were the same demographic as those actors, as those characters, but two, like I only wanted a strong accent if the character probably wouldn't have spoken English,
Mm,
or to like really or to really accentuate where they're from, and that's why I wanted the spirit to have like a Japanese kind of accent.
mm.
But in your experience as an Asian female voice actress, how have those castings gone, and how respectful are people usually?
I think I've not had any bad experience at all. So
Hmm.
there's this podcast where I play a Malaysian Chinese, a Chinese Malaysian, in this
Right.
podcast called Y2K. And the way
Hmm.
it's written, it's a strong character. So she's studious. She's actually studying for in medical, which is, I would think, what most Asian parents want in the past. But she's also along the way she finds herself to be either bisexual or she prefers women than men. So I
Yeah.
think that's a good representation. It's a good, strong character. Others are in the White Vault. And okay, so there's this audiobook that I recorded called People of Water. It's by Marcus Martin. He is
Right.
a great writer. And I voice the main character and as the narrator in her chapters. And she's a very
Right.
strong character as well, like the heroine of the story. So they've all been good experiences from
Okay.
the
Good.
character work. Yeah, I do get a lot of internal training works from companies where they need an Asian representative, and they're all talking about diversity, inclusivity. I can't pronounce
It's
that
a
word.
hard word. I can't pronounce it either. I can't pronounce it either.
But yeah, so good experience so far.
Okay, that's good. Good to know. And uh, I had another different question actually. So, okay, this is a little off the record, but hear me out. So you've been
Hmm.
in marketing for a long time, right? Um,
Yes.
that's like your big thing. Do you have any advice on how to market this podcast? Because I'm trying to get people to listen to it. So, like, um, I don't know. As someone in the cast and someone kind of familiar with the script a little bit, like, any advice there? I'd love a little advice.
Putting me on the spot here. Okay.
Well, I mean, it has been your job. I mean,
Yeah, true, true. I mean the first thing that comes into mind, obviously Dead by Daylight is it would you call it a video game or like
it's a
an
video game, yeah.
it's a video game. So there's a whole big fan base out there for the video game. Even when
Right.
I shared on my story, my Insta story that I'm voicing this character from Dead by Daylight, anyone plays
Oh
it
wait,
because
you haven't. You should follow me on Instagram. I didn't know you had an Instagram. You should. I should. Anyway, give
okay.
me your Instagram later. Give me your Instagram
I
later.
will. I will. And then because I personally don't play video games. That's probably why I have time for, I don't know, music and sports. But I would really like to get into games one day when I have the
Yeah.
time. But to my surprise, I have a few friends replying, say, "Oh, Dead by Daylight, I play that," and then they're like saying, "Then me and those friends could have a conversation about it, and we talk about the killers." And they say that's so interesting that you're voicing it. And I say, yeah, I'm gonna share this podcast when it's out, and you guys can listen to it. So people who play the games are very likely to be very interested in this, and I would think there are Reddit threads on this. There must be other Discord groups that are talking about Dead by Daylight,
Yeah, I'm
and
in a few of those. Yeah.
then even YouTube videos. It's possible to link out to them.
Right.
So I
I'm
would.
actually really fortunate because there's a big Dead by Daylight content creator named well, his name is Will, but he's the lore guy, and he makes videos dissecting the lore, and like he analyzes Dead by Daylight stories, and he and I are working together. He's actually in the podcast, and he's gonna shout it out whenever his episode comes out and stuff. So I'm fortunate for that, but I hope that there's a market for it. Seems like there is though. I found that people, even if they haven't played Dead by Daylight, they know someone who has, which is really weird. It's one of those games where it's like not so big that everyone's played it, but it's like big enough to be known about, basically.
Hmm. I think you can try and find Dead by Daylight advocates. Um,
Advocators? What do you mean by that?
advocates, yeah. So maybe on Twitter, there's somebody who's really passionate about this and they like to do fan art. I've seen people who are really strong fans of Naruto, and then all the art that
Hmm.
they do and they post on their Instagram are all in Naruto verse. So I'm pretty sure there are some for Dead by Daylight as well. Whether maybe find them on Twitter or Instagram,
Yeah,
and then just reach out to them.
yeah.
You
I
know,
had not considered that actually.
yeah, and then you can let them know that, okay, you know, why don't just check it out, and if you like it, you know, feel free to share it, because
Right.
they already like this whole game. If they turn out to like the podcast, then that's great.
Yeah. And I'm really hoping too that there's interest in this because the story and characters of the game are generally overlooked by most of the players just because the developers haven't put a lot of like focus on it until very recently.
Mm.
So people are really itching to get to know these characters, but they don't even have voice actors in the game. They have like grunts of pain and noises, but no like character per se. Which is why
Yeah.
I'm glad that you helped bring the spirit to life because your portrayal of her is really like good. Like I've my the process I'm going through with editing right now is that I'm getting everyone's like line retakes and stuff and
Mm-hmm.
telling them like, hey, change this line slightly. Hey, I need delivery different here. But with you, I actually have no notes except for like I need like a little bit more of a laugh on one line. So you're solid basically. I'm glad I cast you.
Thank
I've
you. I was like going through it, and then for Spirit, no notes so far. I was like, okay, so I guess I'll just wait for the next update.
and there are no more updates. You're doing great.
Thank
um
you.
No problem. I know you haven't listened to it yet, but episode 3, the one you're in, is very, very good, I think. Um, and you play a large part in that. I think you pretty much carry like it's 30 minutes long, and you carry like 20 minutes of it, honestly.
Oh,
Um,
dang.
no, like really, like you're actually like really good. I'm glad I
No,
cast you.
thank you for your kind words.
No problem. To wrap this up, though, is there anything like you want to give? Okay, for the 5 people that are listening right now, is there any like advice or worldly knowledge, because you've been around the world a lot, that you
Mhm.
want to give people in regards to voice acting, life, shout out to the Malaysians, I guess. Anything you want to like say to those people or anybody?
So first of all, shout out to all my Malaysians.
Yay!
In terms of voice acting, I would say, you know, people always say, how do I want to start? It looks so interesting. Should I go get a XLR mic or blah blah blah? If anyone out there who really wants to just give this, like, just dip your toes a bit, just get like a USB mic, a Blue Yeti, or even something cheaper is fine, and then just go on Casting Call Club and just try it out. Because in my own experience, I auditioned a lot in Casting Call Club to practice different portrayal of different characters and different emotions, so that would be a good place to start.
Right.
And let's just say in life in general, which also applies to voice acting, is don't give up so easily. I
Hmm.
think there are a lot of hurdles along the way, and right now in our generation, in our time, I'm not too sure about in the West, but sometimes in the East, you're kind of like expected to have certain things and achieve certain milestones in life by certain age. But if you're not there yet, just don't give up and just keep on going. I do think sometimes youngsters these days give up a bit too easily.
Okay.
Um, just pull through, and I think hard work and perseverance, it will show eventually.
That is very like good advice considering you're playing the spirit and that was kind of her whole thing, working hard and um yeah. Um yeah, cool. Is there anything else, Sam, you want to say just in general about your experience with this or anything? I'm just trying to find a way to conclude. If I'm rambling. Go ahead. Anything else?
All I want to say is I'm really excited to see how everything comes out. I want to listen to episode 3 and all the other episodes and the lore reading, so I'm just excited and looking forward to those.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for being here. My name is Solomon Troop, and this was
This was my name, Sam Yeow.
yeah, yeah. There you go. You got it. Awesome. Thank you so much for this conversation. And yeah, I think by the time this comes out, that your episode will be out too. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. Thank you so much for doing this with me. It's like 11 a.m. where you are, right?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, yeah, it's
You should,
it's
and
opposite
you,
for me.
yeah, you're probably gonna go sleep soon.
Oh, I don't sleep anymore. I just edit the podcast. That's all I do every day. Um, but anyway, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well.